It's a ton of money. I mean, the bikinis are like $700.
Are you serious?
Yes.
And you probably have to have more than one.
Correct. So for every event, heaven, you can't wear one of those twice.
So this episode's guest is the one and only Landi Rosenau. Landi is the owner of Flourish Dentistry and Aesthetics, and she is just a fun person to be around. I helped her out with a video a few years back, and her staff in her office does not fit the mold of what you would think of in dentistry. It's chic, it's fun, it's elegant, and you almost feel like you're walking in to a salon. She loves going big on social media and recently hired someone full-time on staff to help her out with social media. I hope you get some great nuggets of information and a few laughs along the way. If you would subscribe to her channel and like the video and help us grow our podcast to new audiences, we would really appreciate it. Enjoy, and I'm sure you're going to be paying extra close attention to the $700 bikini reference.
Last night we started with a cheers, so I feel like we should do the same. So cheers. Cheers to episode number 3.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, we'll just virtual cheers. Landi, how do you pronounce your last name?
Rosenau.
Rosenau. I think I've always just in my head done 3 syllables, Rosenau. So I was close.
Yeah, very close. For the longest time when I was dating Sam, I thought it was Rosenau. And I was like, ooh, I like that.
Right.
I found out like a month before we were getting married that it was German and it was like Rosenau. And I'm like, not as good.
We did a video together. It's been a couple years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. At that stage in my life, I was kind of in between jobs, but thinking about starting my own business. Kind of what I'm doing now. I was kind of in that mode. And so you reached out to me. I did a video for Sean and Becky. Some people saw that. You saw that. You wanted a video. When you said you wanted a video for your business, nice to meet you. You own a dental practice. We'll go into more of what you do in a little bit. But so what I usually do where I start is research. So I go onto a bunch of dental websites, some dentistry Instagram feeds, social media, and boy, oh boy, did I find some good stuff. There are a lot of industries out there that probably are considered very bland and boring, and I would say, don't throw your drink at me. Dentistry might be one of them.
Yes, agreed.
But you have somehow made a way to really make your business look attractive on social media. Talk to me about that.
Like my main goal for social media is we want people to relate to us. We want them to be like, oh, that's a place that I feel comfortable. So we just kind of try to show who we are and kind of take out the typicality of dentistry.
What is the typicality of dentistry?
Do I have to be careful what I say
No,
here?
not at all.
The old boys club, the old guy, the hairy hands, the sterile field, like no fun, pain, discomfort, all of that kind of, Seymour, Little Shop of Horrors, like all that kind of stuff, and so, I think that's what a lot of people, especially our generation and older, associate dentistry with.
Yeah. There's 2 things you said there that I want to talk about. I grew up in the UK, 7 years Scotland, 7 years in England. And my family, if they ever watch this, who live over there still, they're going to hate me. But British people are kind of famous for having bad teeth.
Correct.
I was one of them. I never had braces. They ended up somewhat straight. I probably should have had braces. Tons of cavities, 1 root canal, but I was 18, 19 at that point. But I've just got horrible memories of growing up, younger years. It was mostly my fault not taking care of my teeth. But what are some of the worst? Kelly, you go. What's, because you friggin' hate the dentist.
man.
What's your worst experience at the dentist?
Probably when I had to get my first root canal this year. And oh gosh, I've never been so close to punching someone in the face. But that hygienist kept tapping my tooth and kind of aggressively. And I've already went in because I'm like, oh, my tooth hurts. Can you check it out? And she kept tapping. I was like, oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. And then finally I was like, if you touch my tooth one more time, I was like, and I think they heard me, the rest of the staff, that how upset I was getting because they came in and they took her out.
Okay, but to play devil's advocate, business liability is such a thing. And you've heard of, someone going in for surgery, having the wrong arm amputated or something. That's an extreme situation.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be too careful to make sure that it's the right tooth. Landi, speak into that a little bit.
You can. Of course, you want to always treat the right tooth because that's a whole big issue. But once you've clearly demonstrated that tooth is creating pain, there's no need to confirm it over and over because there's also multiple diagnostic tools. So you're going to do the percussion test, you're going to do the palpation test, you're going to take an x-ray, you're going to endoice it. So positive, percussion, move on. Because
I don't want you to look at my teeth.
It's always insurance.
No judgment ever. Everyone says that. Everyone is like, I don't want you to see my teeth. You're going to judge or there's this. But I never, ever feel that way. It's almost like you keep the person on emotionally, but when it comes to their teeth, it's like you separate it. So it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
So I'll tie that into my business and mortgage loan officers. Your loan officer has more access to a person's data, financial data, than almost any other transaction out there. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people, you're like, if it's someone if you're a loan officer, I'm like, I don't want you to see my W-2, how much I made last year type thing.
I can imagine that's a lot of stress on people.
Yeah.
That's a hugely intimate experience.
Right. And so a loan officer kind of has to play that, not game, but has to be that professional in the same manner as like, we're doing business over here. We might be friends. And so it's interesting you say that. I'm going to draw parallels the whole time.
No, but that's so true. I didn't really think about that. And I think, because I know, like with certain loan officers at the gym, I knew those details. Like, I don't know if I want them knowing all of those details about me, So it's true with a dentist, a friend. Some people prefer that intimacy because they know they have that comfort, but then some people are like,
They're like, you paid what to who?
Yeah, right. I already have that stress from my husband. Right. You paid it for what?
Okay, let's talk about Little Shop of Horrors. That was the second thing. One of my favorite movies. That was the 80s, right? Yeah, probably mid-80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve Martin, Rick, what was his name?
Moranis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Mm-hmm. One of my good buddies, I used to work with him, Scott Groves. He does a great podcast. I just commented on his Instagram today. And so shout out to Scott Groves on most, if not all of his podcasts. He always asks his guests what their favorite movies are. And I'll ask that not to copy Scott Groves, but since we're talking about Little Shop of Horrors, let's talk favorite movie.
Favorite movie. I hate to be so cliche, but I'm going to do it because it's just the truth. Dirty Dancing. Love it. Cannot get enough.
That's a good one.
I've watched it probably 50 times. I could watch it 50 times more.
Yeah.
What about you, Kelly?
Oh gosh. I think the first thing that popped in my mind was The Proposal.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because it's love and comedy.
We just started that the other night.
We did. Yeah, I love the dynamics between Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
How could you forget it, isn't it?
I have other people in my mind.
Dirty Dancing, one of the greats. I always have a tough time answering that question because I kind of put them into buckets myself, So I've got a tough time. But if you were to force me, I would probably say Les Miserables.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you seen the theater version?
I haven't. I've only seen, and I'd never seen Les Miserables until the most recent one with Hugh Jackman came out. And I went to it kind of begrudgingly because someone told me I really needed to go see it. I was like, isn't it a musical? I'm like, I'm not really into musicals type thing. And I'm really not still, But Les Mis was just, I walked out. I was like, I got to go see that again. That was amazing.
He's great in the musicals he's done. Have you seen Greatest Showman?
Yes.
Yeah, he's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us about Flourish. Tell us about how you came up with the name. You told me when we were shooting the video, but I've forgotten. No offense. But you're more than just a dental practice. So tell us about it.
So in a competitive market, I needed to have something unique. So other than just offering dentistry, I wanted to offer other services, not necessarily to be profitable, but to bring in clientele. And so that's why we decided to add the injectables, kind of the spa side of it. And then as far as the name, being a Rosenau, and I'm obsessed with flowers, I'm obsessed with roses. I wanted something flower themed, but then I also wanted something that talked about growth and possibilities. And so just throwing names around, Flourish kind of became it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it.
One thing I also love about your office, it's so beautiful. You've done
thank you.
you don't feel like you're walking into a dentist's office.
Thank you.
You feel like you're walking into a spa. And I've been in different rooms and they're all just so wonderfully thought out. I can tell you've put a lot of love into it.
Thank you. I have. She's my baby.
Do you do massage? You don't do massages, do
No,
you?
but we actually have a massage room. We have a patient who just graduated from massage therapy school. And so we're thinking about right out of school, she kind of needs to have a pretty consistent gig. But as she starts to build her own clientele, I'm hoping that she'll kind of want to bring it on there.
So how many different services do you offer?
Ooh, okay. So obviously the dentistry, full spectrum dentistry, we offer botulinum toxins, so Botox, Dysport. We offer fillers. We offer Sculptra. We offer laser hair removal. We offer skin resurfacing. We offer microdermabrasion. We offer... What else do we offer? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, and we're bringing on hopefully very soon IV therapy and hopefully some weight loss therapy.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm about to do through Harvard, I'm about to do a whole nutritional counseling course because I don't want to bring on weight loss without really understanding all of the things that go into meal planning because I don't want it just to be here's a drug, have at it.
Harvard.
I know, I'm excited. They offer some really cool programs and certifications.
Wasn't it the president of Harvard that was just in the news?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see it. What did he do?
It's one of the Ivy League. I think it was Harvard, but it's been a little bit. I'll get into some political discussions with some people, but I got to be careful with those.
Well, the good thing with me is because I remember I just became an American citizen, so I don't know. Yeah, it's Canadian. Well, I'm both, so I don't know a lot about American politics.
So you really like the proposal then?
I do, exactly.
Canadian. Yeah. They're going to deport me?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about the controversy, but I'm pretty confident it was the president of Harvard, but she got into trouble for plagiarism and got fired. And there was controversy over it because she's African American woman, and there was another president of another college that was white, also accused of the same thing, but it took them 6 to 9 months to fire her, where the president of Harvard, it took him less than a month. So there's some racial discussions around it, but we won't go into that. So there's a big difference, I would imagine, from being a dentist to owning a dental practice. You got to put your business hat on, right?
Oh gosh, such a difference that I didn't even realize until I did it.
So tell us about why you wanted to start your own, and then the differences in just simply going to work, being a dentist versus being a business owner.
Okay. So the main reason I wanted to start it was COVID related. I had been associating for a practice group for about 4 years at that point when COVID hit. I kind of was super disappointed in how my boss handled things. He immediately had all his doctors sign contracts for no guarantee of pay. He put everyone kind of out of work. And I knew practices around me were trying to take out the loans to support their staff's families. I was just like, wow, I have devoted my life to this person and their practice and their business. And I am essentially just kind of hung out to dry. I have no control over my future right now.
How long did you work for him?
4 years.
Okay.
And I was the primary doctor in that practice. Like I took that practice to a multi-million-dollar practice. And I had amazing relationships with so many of the patients. Like I really put my heart and soul into that practice. Because I didn't think I wanted to own. But then when COVID hit and I realized, he was like, see ya, like your well-being is of zero concern to me. I was like, wow, like I didn't spend all this time in school. I haven't sacrificed all these things to be in a position where I have no control over my future, the well-being of my staff, any of that.
So knowing everything that you know now, if you had to do it all over again, would you just want to be in a practice, or would you prefer to have your own practice and have to wear both hats?
Oh, I still feel like that's a hard question to answer because I'm still in the like early infancy of owning a business. So that changes day to day. Some days I'm like, this is the greatest decision. Other days are like, why did I do this? And Sam will have to sometimes say, like, remember, the long term will be worth this. But I think on an average, being able to provide care on my terms and have a staff that I've selected and just doing things, I hate to say my way, but on my terms, it's very much more satisfying than being an associate and having
no control.
Not necessarily the choices you want to have. Even with supplies, I know it sounds silly, but to choose the type of filling material I want to use, that makes a difference because it's my name when someone leaves that building on the work. And so I like being able to really feel good about the quality of dentistry I'm providing. I have zero issues putting my head on my pillow at night. And that I couldn't always say at some of the places I've associated because there were certain restrictions that I had no control over.
Right.
So
talk to me about retention, because in the mortgage world, I forget the exact number, but I'll just come up with what I think is the closest. On average, a loan officer spends between 2 to 3 years at their company, and then they move on to the next company. Shiniest toy, better pricing, whatever it might be, culture. But on average, I think it's between 2 to 3 years that a loan officer will have tenure at any given company. You've got extremes on both sides. But talk to me about retention and culture at your office and what you kind of put into that. Because it seems like, at least on social media, you guys do a great job with that.
yeah, I mean, those have been learning tasks because I have had some original employees that I thought were lifelongers leave because of philosophical issues or things like that. But so I don't know if you've ever read the book Culture Code.
No.
It talks about leadership, and it talks about essentially leading from a place of vulnerability. So I don't hide the specifics of the practice. Like, say there's a whole bunch of income expenses or unexpected expenses, or I'm struggling with something like, hey, my schedule's empty, or I share that with the team. Or if there's a problem, I'll be, hey guys, I don't know how to necessarily solve this. What kind of ideas do you have? So I really want my team part of everything. I want them to know everything. So when I say, hey, we don't have the budget, they understand. They're not just like, oh, she's keeping that for herself. Like, they understand why I make the decision. So very, very open about everything. And another thing is I give them as much autonomy as possible because I want them to feel confident in themselves, in the tasks at hand. If there's downtime, I never check in on what they're doing because I trust them. And so just giving them that trust, being super open with them. I think it's just built a culture of them really trusting in me and wanting to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Talk about growing the company. What I'm not sure if you want to say this, but capacity, how much room do you have to grow within your current space? Do you have room to grow?
Lots of room to grow.
You have lots of room to grow. So talk to us about growing that business, and what do you said you go to sleep soundly every night. But I'm sure you.
Ethically, I go to sleep. So stress, I don't
But
necessarily.
yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
Big difference.
Yeah.
starting this business, I've been waking up quite often, either not being able to go to sleep or waking up early or waking up in the middle of the night with just a million ideas running through my head of how to grow this business. What new avenues can I take? Talk to us about that in your world.
Yeah, and that's constantly, I think, evolving too. At first, it was kind of tapping in. I feel like the best patients come from the best patients. So I've always had the concept of internal marketing. People who know you and have an amazing experience are the most likely to send you more wonderful people like themselves. And so we've just always really invested in hopefully providing everyone with the best experience. So our new patient visits are long, they're involved, they're lengthy. There's time for every visit. I don't ever want patients to feel rushed. I want to make sure they have their answers. So that's kind of been the model as far as that. And then in this day and age, Google reviews are huge.
Yeah.
And so kind of finding creative techniques to motivate patients to put Google reviews, and then, just SEO and the algorithms. Once you hit certain points and all that behind the scenes, then you start getting those organic reviews that aren't internal, and then you continue getting the internal ones. And so that's kind of been our approach, but there's lots of room for growth. Well, I mean, we have room. My schedule is near capacity, which is great. So that's why we're bringing on a new doctor.
There's no better lead than just an organic referral. I've got a great tool for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll share it with you later. It's a video testimonial automated solution type
Yeah,
thing
that would be amazing.
that I've looked into for other companies. Because there's nothing like just hearing a testimonial or referral from someone that you know, like, and trust type thing. But what other, you've only been in business for not very long, but have you, other than social media, do you do any type of marketing?
Believe it or not, we have not.
That's good.
It is,
Then
but
your
then
doors
that
are
also
still open.
right, and that's where it's kind of exciting because we have that ability.
Yeah.
We've built this, and just imagine if I can get my act together, we can actually build a budget for that.
Right.
We have the ability to really, I think, be even
Yeah.
better. It's so hard to decide where do you put your dollars, because it's a risk.
Yeah. If you put it in the next revolutionary AI robot that does root canals for you,
Right.
or
No, thank you.
it's coming.
Yeah, it might be coming.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they just put. I talked to Trey about it last night, where they just implanted, Elon Musk's company implanted a dude's brain with AI. He's now playing chess with his mind.
Shut up.
Yeah. It's what is it? Is it Neuralink? I think Elon Musk's, he owns
That's
four
freaky.
major companies. I think the name of it's Neuralink. But they just implanted a dude's brain with
Like
AI.
a person, a real person?
A real person. They've been testing it on pigs for years and years, and monkeys.
Why does a real person need AI?
He's a paraplegic.
Ah, okay. You didn't.
He can't move. Yeah.
You didn't go.
So he's a paraplegic. That's the main benefit right now is people with major disabilities. And I think mostly physical disabilities. Actually, no, I think their plan is
Even cognitive disabilities?
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually
To
exciting.
rewire your brain basically.
Scary,
All through technology.
but also
and so doing a
exciting.
root canal seems simple when technology can now rewire someone's brain.
well, technology can rewire someone's DNA. Like you can, with gene therapy, it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing what people can do.
Tell us about that fitness journey that you went on right after starting your business.
Well, it was motivated by some of the pictures for the business because I remember at the grand opening, I looked at myself and I was like, oh, like the pictures, I was like, this is not good. And I think that was the stress of the building the practice I was associating at prior to, I left the original practice I told you about, like right when COVID happened. And then I was associating another practice that was unbelievably stressful. So between working there, building the practice, I think I was just on cortisol overload and I packed it on. And then I don't really think I realized it until I saw the ribbon cutting photo and I was like, ooh, not good. So I just, a neighbor of mine, she had done that. And she's like, you should do it with me. You should do it with me. I was like, oh, that's just not my style. Like to do the stage and to get, like, I don't love the idea of women competing against women for aesthetic reasons. Cause I'm all about like, women should be just raising women up constantly. So I was like, oh, that kind of goes against what I believe. But she's like, it'll just use it as like a tool to get you back. And I was like, you know what? That's it. So I figured I wasn't going to fully commit to the process unless I fully committed to, because if I knew I was going to get on a stage in a bikini, I was going to do the work.
Motivation.
Exactly. I was like, because there's no way that plus 20 pounds me was walking on that stage. So I needed to get healthy. I needed to kind of rebalance my hormones, all those things. And so great coach that she referred me to, and he just programmed all my food, my workouts, and
How much time between deciding to do it versus you walking on stage went by?
I think I committed in like end of May and stage was November. So about 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, you did really well.
And what did
Fantastic.
Were you happy with kind of that journey? Would you do it differently?
Absolutely.
Is there...
I was happy with the journey and it 100% got me back on track. And to this day, I haven't maintained it to a T, but overall I've maintained it and it's got me really consistent with the gym and those types of things. Again, the stage part is just not for me. It's a ton of money. I mean, the bikinis are like $700.
Are you serious?
Yes.
And you probably
They're
have to have more
gorgeous.
than one.
Correct. So for every event, heaven, you can't wear one of those twice. And then the gowns. And so I was just like, I'm so thankful for where it got me, but I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
You know,
Check that box.
Exactly. And I'm, again, like,
It was like a kickstart.
exactly. And I needed that. And I needed something to really motivate me. And I love that neighbor. And that even brought our friendship closer. And she's, to this day, one of the people I admire and respect so much. And getting to know her as part of that is so worth it too.
One of the things I look forward to on your social feed is Halloween. You guys go all out.
We sure
Different
do.
theme every day.
We sure do.
You guys
That's our
don't mess around.
Yeah, that's our thing. And we try to like highlight all the different holidays, and we try to do a lot of theme stuff for that. Just even for like April 2nd was autism awareness. So we all dressed in the rainbow color scrubs just to promote awareness for the different causes that we each believe in.
Well, Landi, thank you for being on our
Thank you for having
podcast.
me. This has been so fun.
I'm glad. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's been
Third
fun for
one.
us.
I'm going to come up with a little catchy title for each podcast. And it's kind of like a insight is into one of the topics that we discussed. So what should the title, maybe I'll call this episode Feed Me Seymour.
That's a great idea.
Right?
I want to be a dentist. $700 bathing suit could also be the title.
That could be a good one. Yeah. All righty. That's a wrap.